Thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. We've got Sharon that is in an ecology meeting. And unfortunately, Michael is not able to make it with us tonight because I believe he's racing his sweetheart off to the doctors. So the three of us, but I'm sure that that's going to be absolutely fine. So welcome.
Hi, Beth. Nice to be here.
Hi, Beth. Thanks for having us tonight.
So, Sandra, I wanted, because we haven't, I don't think, formally done this so far. Obviously, I know you well. Sarah knows you well. We know you from Nourish. We know you from PMP and other communities. But if you would just take a moment and let us know about your coaching type, your focus. I know you've got a new program starting shortly that you're running online, and your website, so that those that are watching or watching us on the replay with the hashtag replay can find you.
Sure. Background, a little bit of my background is and from there, I expanded into a holistic health program and took eating psychology. So what I really do with women is I support and mentor them in achieving their health and their weight loss goals, increasing their energy while they're making peace with their plate. They're also going to learn how to honor their internal body wisdom and what exactly is going on inside with the weight. And what is their weight really telling them? So that's a little bit about how and what we do when I talk with my ladies. And my program, my group program is awesome. It's a 9-week workshop where you're going to really look at again, that innate body wisdom and what is it really telling you? We look at your gut health. We look at what's happening with that metabolism. We'll really dive deep into a lot of areas. We talk about the quality of food. We talk about our power of thought and what it does for us. And we end off our 9 weeks with a little bit of touching on the power of spirit and spirituality and how it affects us and how it affects our weight and what's it really saying to us. And there's so much more in between that.
Sorry, I had a plane fly over and I turned myself off so you wouldn't all hear it, and then forgot to turn myself back on. Where can we find you? Your website or Facebook page?
You can find me at Health Coach Sandra, or Coach Sandra on Facebook and on Instagram. I'm just starting out on that, and you can find me there at Health Coach Sandra.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for starting off and sharing that with everybody. So today we're going to carry on talking what we talked last week, which is about keeping our word to ourselves. And today I wanted to get us into commitment and dedication. Like when we've decided on our resolutions, we're committed to keeping our word to ourselves, that this is what I'm going to do for myself. But sometimes we fall off the horse and you got to get back on. And most of the time we fall off the horse and we berate ourselves so badly for having fallen off. And we simply we lose so much faith in ourselves that we just stay off the track. Like we never get back on the horse. We're like, oh, well, I can't do it. That's it. I'm done. So tonight I wanted to talk about that commitment and dedication that accepts that we're going to fall off the horse. You're going to fall off the horse. It's not going to be easy sailing the whole way. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be failures. They're going to be getting back on track. And so I really wanted us to talk about that commitment and dedication, but at that same time, that loving ourselves enough to forgive ourselves and then just carry on. So anybody want to start on that?
Hi, little Miss Five. Yeah, when I was in the corporate world and in management, one of the things that I did in planning out my day and my schedule was to build in about a 20% buffer for interruptions, for things that were going to take me off my track, and then have to be able to get back on. And I think that life just kind of goes that way itself. You can have the best laid plans, and real life is going to happen, and it might boot you right off your path. And then you're left wondering, was I on the right path? Should I pivot here? What do I do? Or do I just get right back up there? And yeah, being gentle in your thoughts with yourself and just sort of understanding that we aren't perfect beings. We are never going to be perfect beings. We can set our intentions and our goals and our to-do list, and then make our best efforts to achieve all of those things. And if we don't, at the end of the day, how much does it really matter? We're just holding ourselves to a high standard, which is great because that urges us toward personal growth and development. But there's no reason to just beat yourself up because you fell off your own wagon. Yeah, just get right back up there. Every day you start at day one.
Yeah, absolutely. Every day is day one. Yeah, all over again. Yeah. So how about you, Sandra?
I pretty much what Sarah's saying. I always, when I was working in the community, I always took time to build in that time frame in case something went south with the client, which often did. So it was always running behind. With this now, I really look at it as a huge learning experience. And keeping on track, keeping focus on what's really important to me. Where do I really want to see myself at the end of the year? And knowing full well that I'm going to have failures, but failures are really just learning because I didn't know how to do it to begin with. So can you really class it as a failure? I guess you can, but you don't know that you're going to fail till you fail. And it's still learning. So I think if you can really dig into that and go, yeah, it's just a learning experience, and accept yourself for where you're at. And honor the good, honor everything that happens that just, I learned how to do that. I learned how to put a piece on Instagram. It can be as simple as, geez, I learned how to cook squash tonight.
Right.
And honor that, because you didn't know how to do it until you did it.
Right.
So honor that.
I remember I was in my probably late 20s, but I was not a great cook. And my brother and I, for 6 months, were roommates, and he didn't know how to cook at all. And I said to him, well, let's do something. Let's learn how to cook. But here on the fridge is the number for pizza, the number for sushi, the number for hamburgers. So if it's terrible, we'll just order in. But first we try to cook. And so every day we would attempt to cook. And if it was too bad, then we just throw it in the rubbish and order something in. But that was how I learned to cook with him. It was just like, okay, well, we got to get over this, and I got to get over it sometime. So let's just get over it this way, And that was a wonderful way of not feeling bad about, hey, if we totally messed it up, so be it. Let's just order in. I mean, the worst that can happen is we're going to eat pizza tonight. Okay. But the best that could happen is we actually learn how to cook. And it's really funny because my brother then moves back home with mom and dad. And he moves back home knowing how to cook. And my mom's like, how on earth did you do that? And I was like, well, that's going to be a classified secret. But it was being willing to fail.
Yeah.
And I think that, when you're trying a new lifestyle, because I'm not going to say a diet, I'm going to try, when we're trying a new lifestyle, which for us, that new lifestyle was we're going to learn how to cook. We're going to do home cooked meals. But when you're trying a new lifestyle, you've got to add in that padding, that extra room for failure, of accepting that it's not necessarily going to be perfect, but I am committed to this. So if today we failed and we ordered in pizza, that doesn't mean that tomorrow we're not going to try again. We
Right.
would.
You don't just go to pizza every day for the rest of your life because you tried to cook once.
Exactly. So, but it was an acknowledgement that some days it could be so bad that we might need to resort to that. And if so, so be it. But we're going to make the attempt every day to cook one meal. Well, we did breakfast. Breakfast was easy. We knew how to do that. But that we're going to make the attempt to actually do home cooked meals. So, it's that commitment and dedication of I'm going to learn something new and we're going to try a new lifestyle. And that's what we're doing, with our lives. So, my next question to you is, you've got a client, they're trying something new and they flop. They've come to you and they're like, I am useless at this. I can't do it. Where do you start?
Sandra?
Oh, you want me to go first? Sure. Okay. Where do I start? Well, I look at what were they trying to do? What was their real intention of where are you going down this path? And then let's backtrack and see, Kate, what were your successes along the way? Is I try never to go back with them and dig up what they did wrong. It's always, what did you do right and what did you learn and how could you do it a little differently?
Yeah. And then just continue to build on every little habit that you've learned and create your own habit stacking and pay attention as you go. Know that, when I need to accomplish X, I proceed in this way. And I already know the first 10 steps to getting there. And today I'm going to add step 11 and see how that fits with my overall scheme. And to remind the clients that life doesn't happen in a straight line ever, so which I think is kind of a fallacy of youth, if anything, where you think, oh, I've got my career trajectory and path all laid out and this is, going to go dot by dot by dot. And it just doesn't happen that way. But going back to what Sandra was saying, pay attention to where the client succeeded. Ask them what part of it they really enjoyed and what they learned from it and how they can build on that and carry that into their next lesson. And if they found that they want to continue on the same path or if they want to go off in a different direction too. You're muted.
All right. Sorry about that. So question here from Tony Lee. What is your favorite habit you've stacked so far this year?
Oh, I know what mine is.
Okay, great.
Mine is attending the Power of 8 circle every day this year. We can have the same favorite.
Okay, good. I'm glad we can have the same favorite because I was like, But wait a minute, that was mine.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just the power and the connection and the support and love and intention and personal growth that's happening just by showing up for that every day. And I'll admit to the entire world today that I am not a morning person. My motto is I like to get up by the crack of noon, which is of course not true, but that's what I like to say. But I've been getting up for all of these 7 a.m. circles, and I look forward to every single one of them. Like as soon as it ends, I can't wait for the next one to start. So that's my new favorite thing. And I want to be stacking that habit every day for a long time.
Yeah, I will say that is mine. And what I'm finding amazing about it is that it has taken my meditation and my intention setting to a whole new level. Like I get up in the morning and, we've got a time difference. So, at 6 o'clock here, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for you, but at 6 o'clock here, I'm sitting down with my plan for the day, with my vision for the day. And I'm actually visualizing my day and I'm doing intention setting for myself first thing in the morning with this is how my day is going to go. And that power of 8 is like the highlight of the day of when I get to this, if my cup is even slightly empty, I get to refill it.
Yeah.
And just that knowing that I'm doing that every day and that my cup is going to be full. Today I did something I would not have dreamed of doing 2 months ago, which was I had 5 back-to-back calls today. And I was like, I know I'm going to be tired at the end of the day. This is call number 6. And I was looking at it going, okay, it's going to be tight time-wise, but I wasn't thinking about, oh my God, how's my energy going to be, which normally would be my concern. It was, no, my cup is full. My cup is overflowing. I've got this. As long as I keep everything on track, I'm good. And so, it's that making sure for me that my cup is full. And I think, if I was to say, what's the habit? It's that it's making sure that my cup is overflowing and then I'm able to give to others. And that's something I wasn't doing properly. That for me is a new habit of my cup's overflowing. And so I have so much more to give. And that's really, really coming from a totally different place than I've come in previous years. So yeah, that's my new habit. How about you, Sandra?
I have to say the power of 8 has been very powerful for me. And it's certainly regrounding me back into a practice that I used to do many, many, many years ago and got rid of. And that in itself is taking me to a different level of knowing. Also, it's taking me into a level of where am I looking at for me? What is my self-care practice? And how do I refill myself? And setting boundaries, that's huge for me. So that's where Power of 8's taking me. Also, the Course of Miracles is really, I knew I've read it before, but this is a whole new experience when you're working with a group to experience this, and detaching this pen has no meaning. Yeah, so my habit out of them is really sitting down and really looking after me, grounding my own inner self and honoring that inner being.
One of the questions, yeah, it is. One of the questions that came up in Nourish today was, well, where does exercise fall into all of this? And obviously there was quite a bit of discussion in Nourish about autoimmune diseases and energy levels. There was about exercising according to where you're at in this part of your life in terms of, what you're able to do and doing enough, but not overdoing it, not taking yourself a step backwards, but rather pushing, rather than moving forward. And I think that the most important thing that we discussed was listen to your body. Okay. And so it's not about, when we're talking about commitment and dedication, keeping your word to yourself. One of the things that I have really clear for me this way is that I am committed to my ultimate purpose and goal, but not to my plan. So if my plan is fit and healthy, that exercise routine may need to change according to whatever happens along the way. But fit and healthy is my ultimate goal. So if fit and healthy means that I need to rest for 2 weeks because I got injured, it's fit and healthy resting and recuperating.
Right. And we've done a really excellent job of demonizing the need for rest and recuperation in our society. It's like, oh, you're just being lazy. Well, if your body is telling you that it's time to stop and be still and rest and recover, then we should all be listening to that inner wisdom. Nobody knows better what you need for your body than you do yourself. It's just, we haven't been taught to listen. We've been taught to pay attention to all of the external goals that society has set for physical accomplishments, athletic accomplishments, whatever it is. But my goodness, it needs to be a highly individual thing. And only you know.
And so I'd love to hear what you have on that, Sandra, and then go on to a comment that Nina or Shweta made. I think it was Nina, but it might have been Shweta.
I totally agree with both of you. We really need to honor that inner wisdom. Our body tells us what we need to do. It tells us if you need to go for a walk. If you pay attention to what your body is really saying, you're going to know whether you want to walk or go to the gym or do your elliptical. And it's really, really, really tuning in to what's right for you, what's right for your joints, what's right for your muscles. Not everybody can go to that gym and lift weights and do the treadmill and work out for 2-3 hours at a time. And think about not only if that's your routine, how do you feel after you've done your routine? What is your body saying to you? And did you really listen to what it said? You might want to change your routine if your body is saying you hurt.
Yeah. And I think at the same time, there's one kind of pain, but there's also the other kind of pain, which we like to mix them up and say, well, this is that sort of pain when it's not. One of the things that I can't remember if it's the Marines or the SEALs have is that we only do 40% of what our body is capable of. And so, every time you say this is the last one, they say, well, one more. And when you finish, you've done 100 more, but just by doing one more at a time. And so there is this capability to do more than what we're doing. But at the same time, there is also that listening to, when is this me saying I can't do anymore because I mentally can't do anymore, versus I can't do anymore because I'm going to injure myself. Okay. And so it's not until we really get into our bodies and we really start to get to know our bodies, and we're going to start to realize what is that difference between this is injury versus this is me piking out. Okay. And obviously, I know with having been in celiac disease, sometimes the energy it wasn't there. There was no way. And if I did too much exercise, I was going to pay for it later. Okay. And I know, Sarah, with fibromyalgia, sometimes exercise is just completely off the cards. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
Okay. But I also know that our bodies require movement. You know, somebody said today that, and I think it was Nina, that our telomeres, you know, the part of our DNA at the very end, if we are without movement for more than 30 minutes, our DNA starts to get the message of we're dying. So it requires movement, but that doesn't mean you have to do 4 hours of exercise a day. Okay? It just requires some movement. Now, I would not get out of my desk and exercise every 25 to 30 minutes because at 25 minutes, I finally got in the zone. I'm finally focused and working. I'm in there. But I am going to put it for every 2 hours, without a doubt, probably less. Okay? So that I'm really doing great work, but at the same time, I'm going for little walks. I'm doing some movement. Vicky, I know, has a standing desk. I know other people that have tried this sitting on a yoga ball or whatever that is. Doesn't work for me, but I think it's fabulous that we work out what movement does work for you.
And honor that when you, even if it is just sitting on the ball or, you know, walking around the house, honor that. Don't allow what society dictates to us as you need to be doing this. No, you don't need to be doing it. You need to honor what your body is saying.
And that's not to say that some bodies don't really love and thrive on extremely rigorous exercise and activity. I happen to have given birth to one of those, and he thrives on being active, and he's been that way since he was born, and he's 29 years old now. So he honors his body and his system, and he pushes it, and his body thanks him for it.
I was talking to a friend today, and she was upset about an online course that she wanted to do because she was like, I don't know, this is going to really interfere with my 4 hours bike rides. And I'm like, oh, wow. Maybe you could just download them and play them in your earphones as you cycle.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going, 4 hour bike rides. Wow, that's cool. And her friend responded to our conversation with, well, I only do 2 hour runs. And I'm like, yeah, that's all. Okay. And they're at a level, you know, like for me, I do a 10-kilometer run and I'm at my upper limit, you know? And I'm sitting there going, okay, you guys are training for marathons. And I'm sitting there going, wow, if I do a half marathon, I will have killed it.
And you know what? And if everybody did the part that they wanted to do, then kudos to every single one of them, because you pushed yourself as hard as you can go. They pushed themselves as hard as they can go and honored your internal systems.
Yeah. But, you know, I think it is finding what can I do that works for me. What is it that really does work for me that I'm doing for my body?
Yeah, I think by now I've identified approximately 3,000 different things that don't work for me, but I'm still in search of that one that does.
Yeah, And I'm the same too. I know where I can push and where I can't. And it's interesting because many years ago I would never have listened to that part of me that said, that's not good for you.
Yeah.
Now I listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been through this major health journey just in transition in the last few months. And so now I'm at a new beginning place, and there have been a couple of days so far since the first of the year where I've gone and walked on a treadmill for, a few miles. And that's been really great. And it's something that I couldn't do 6 months ago or a year ago, but now I can. And so I'm celebrating the fact that on this day, this is what I can do. And I pushed myself and accomplished it without injury. And I didn't pay a high price for it for the next few days. My overreaching goal is, optimal health and fitness and wellness. How I get there, boy, that's going to be the mystery ride. But it's going to be a fun one too. And I don't want to get locked into just doing one thing. Like for the last few years, the only real exercise that I could get that wouldn't throw me into a fibro flare of just, a body-wide extreme fireworks display of muscle spasms. The only thing I could do was walk, and just walk a little bit and just walk gently. Well, now I'm pushing, I'm going a little faster. And sometimes when I walk my dog, I run a few paces, maybe half a block, but it's all more than I could do. And I plan to do more, but I don't need to go from beginning to expert in one day.
Yeah. And, commitment is commitment to doing that, but safely, and commitment to doing it gently, but at the same time, I want to, when I'm running, push my limits, but at the same time, I'm not going to push my limits so that I injure myself.
Yeah.
I'm not going to push my limits so that tomorrow I'm not able to do a short run. Okay. I'll push my limits to where I know that tomorrow I'm going to be sore. Tomorrow I'm going to go, oh, that hurt. But at the same time, not have pushed it so far that if I think, well, I want to do 2 kilometers or 4 kilometers today, that I'm like, there's no way you're doing that. There's no point in doing that much that now today I'm crippled by it.
Yeah.
And so commitment and dedication is saying, and I've done this, I've fallen off the wagon and I've stopped running for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then you just get back on one day, but it's not beating yourself up so badly that you don't get back on. It's not thinking, well, I'll never be able to do that. No, I know I can get back to it. And I know I can get back to that 10Ks where it's not, oh my God, I'm going to die doing 10Ks. I know that I can get to 10Ks and think, oh my God, that was my limit, but I'm still good. And I've still got more in me, you know? And I know that if I can do 10Ks, I can do 21Ks, not in a great time, but I can do it.
Yeah. Right. And so is your goal to do it or do it in a great time?
My goal is to finish a half marathon. That's it.
See?
I'm not looking to go, oh my God, I want to do my best time. For 10Ks, I know that it's always about, is this my best time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's only one time I compete with. That's my last best time. And other than that, there's no point in having a different competition. I know that at kilometer 7, I want to call it quits. But I always make it so that there's no hope, but you have to do the whole run because you've gone out and now you have to come back. The only way back is running. Well, I guess you could walk it, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if rather than committing to, a specific activity or duration or intensity of activity, if you just simply got up every day and said, I honor that place in me that wants to move. How can I best serve you today? And find out what your body wants and go from there.
And I mean, just what 15 minutes of walking a day would do for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this great amount of time. It doesn't have to be a great distance. I know that on my busy days, I walk around the block once with the dogs. That's what it is. On my, oh, there's no way I'm going to do this. It's like, okay, I'll walk around the block in the morning and at night. It's 10 to 15 minutes each time. And when we're done, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's movement.
Right. And research has shown that if you are recommended to walk for 60 minutes a day, if you go and do it in 3 sets of 20 minutes, it's the same benefit as walking for 1 hour straight. So yeah, go for a walk for 20 minutes every day, 3 times a day, and you've got your hour or whatever the recommendation is. But
well, they even say that 15 minutes will totally change your body. So I mean, it's not about even having the hour. It's not about, oh, I have to do this. It's like, if you were just going to do the minimum of 15 minutes a day, and you're doing 0, 15 minutes is a big enough change.
Absolutely. Been there, done that.
You can also break it down into 5 minutes. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 5 minutes in the evening. You got your 15 minutes in. It doesn't say that you need to have 15 minutes consistent. You can break it down into those.
And so it's like Tony said before, what's your habit stacking? And it's about meeting your body where it is and then building on that. Like I got to the stage where I was doing 500 sit-ups a day. I didn't start at 500 sit-ups a day. I started at 20. Yeah. Okay. I didn't start at 5. I started at 20. But I built up to a moment where I knew I could do 500 a day. Now I'm not there at the moment. I'm struggling to get even to 50 at the moment. But I know I've been at 500, so I know I can damn well do 300.
Yeah.
And it's just, okay, what am I committed to? And I am not committed to 500 sit-ups. I am committed to fit and healthy. Yeah. So whatever that's going to look like, that is my goal. I've set a measure of sit-ups. But if that measure is not working for me, I will change the measure. My goal is fit and healthy.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too, when you have the goal of fit and healthy, that you don't want to be comparing to everybody else around you.
This is my fit and healthy.
Yeah, you're fit and healthy, my fit and healthy, Sarah's fit and healthy, Jane Doe's fit and healthy. That's all different, and you need to look at that, because if you start comparing yourself, you will not be doing your inner self any favors.
And you're probably going to injure yourself or be unhappy. I mean, I remember I've got friends that love the gym. I can't stand the gym. It's not for me. Okay. So it doesn't matter how much you tell me that is great exercise and that's what I need to be doing. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And it doesn't matter that you could tell me it's age appropriate and for your body type and all of that. I have no interest in going to the gym. It's just, I'll do weights. I'll carry weights with me when I run. I'll do ankle weights or whatever you want, but I'm not going to the gym. So you do have to find.
Yeah.
Make a note. Exactly. It's not going to happen. I've tried that before. I've done that.
Yeah, I have too. It doesn't work for me either. I would much rather the big benefits I get are like if I go out for a walk in nature on the beach or in the forest or just outside somewhere, that's where I really get to feeling good. But not in the gym. I've never enjoyed going there. I've tried it multiple times throughout my life, and it's just never been my palace that I've wanted to go to.
Well, ladies, we've gone a little bit over time, as we always seem to do. Any final words on commitment and dedication, on getting back on the horse when you fall off, on, how do you keep to these resolutions of what you've decided you want to do this year, believing that you're actually going to achieve it?
I think just keep your ultimate goal in mind, your resolution or your theme for the year or whatever it is. And don't worry much about the steps you need to take to get there. They're going to present themselves in order as they need to. And you'll enjoy it a lot more if you can just relax a little bit about the how you're going to get there and just concentrate on knowing that you are going to get there.
Absolutely.
Totally. Just yeah. Don't worry about the how, because it's going to happen. It'll be there when it's time.
I know for me, it's the listening to my body. It's the self-compassion. It's the what is my body asking me for, and how far can I push it? So for example, Saturday, Isabella and I went to the Causeway, and she was on her bicycle, and I had the two dogs, and I was like, well, this, I'm not going to run under these conditions. Well, guess what? I ran under those conditions with two dogs, with a kid on a bicycle, and it was so much more fun than I expected it to be. It was a little chaotic, but it's about listening to how much can you do? It was sprint and stop. It was sprint and stop because of the nature of a 5-year-old. But did I do good exercise? Yes, I did. I did fun exercise.
Yeah.
So, be gentle with yourself, listen to your body. And also, this is supposed to be fun. It's not, it's going on a diet, choosing a new lifestyle is not supposed to be martyrdom.
Yeah.
You're doing this because you want to enjoy life.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is to stay curious and try new things. Like if you've got a proven record over 30 years that you don't like to go to the gym and you want to get fit and healthy, don't go join a gym. Start thinking of other things that you can do that can help you accomplish that goal, things you haven't tried before. And maybe you're going to find some new love and passion.
I know that Vicky came back from the retreat in Mexico and she was like, I got to find a place that does Kundalini yoga. I totally love that. She'd never tried that before. She'd never even heard of it before. She didn't even know it existed, and I can remember, probably 15 years ago, a friend of mine was like, oh, they're giving salsa lessons at such and such a place. And I was like, oh, I can't dance salsa. And she's like, exactly. They're doing lessons. And these salsa lessons were 3 hours once a week. And so literally you'd go at 6 o'clock, they'd finish at 9. And I would be just drenched from head to toe in sweat.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. I got to know so many people. I learned how to dance salsa.
Nice. Or
and
even if you're trying to incorporate activities with your kids or something and put on Dance Revolution and have a dance contest.
Absolutely.
Your body.
I do. Isabella and I have a group of songs that we'll do together in the morning when we wake up. Not every morning, but it's fun. And it's who can do the funniest thing to make the other one laugh, just move.
Yeah.
So yeah, commitment and dedication, but to the final goal, not necessarily to the how.
Yeah.
And I think we get really caught up in that commitment to the how as opposed to what the final goal was. Thank you, ladies, so much. It has been awesome as always. Tomorrow, I am talking to Nina and Shweta and Samantha D. And we are talking about setting boundaries versus building walls.
Nice. That'll be
Yes, so that will be lots of fun for those of you that can join us. It's 3:30 in the afternoon EST, so that it's 8:30 p.m. in the UK. And yeah, we're going to be talking about healthy boundaries versus just building walls. And, you know, what that means in terms of commitment and dedication, what that means in terms of believing in yourself, and achieving your goals in this new year. So thank you guys so much. And I look forward to speaking to you both and Michael next week. And maybe we'll have Sharon here.
awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.